The clock struck midnight, but sleep never came. The old house was quiet, yet a storm brewed in the hearts of Abdul Rahman and his wife Farida. Shadows danced on the walls of their small room as the soft whimper of the ceiling fan hummed above them. What they had just heard, what had slipped through the crack of their half-open door, was not meant for their ears. But fate had decided otherwise. Tomorrow, we'll send them away. Their daughter-in-law, Nadia, had whispered to her husband, their only son Hamza. They're a burden now. We can't keep wasting money on medicines and food for two people who bring nothing but problems. Farida's trembling hands clutched her husband's arm. Abdul Rahman's eyes, tired from age but sharp with disbelief, filled with unshed tears. For years they had given everything, love, sweat, sacrifices to raise their son. And now, in the home that once echoed with laughter and warmth, they had become strangers, unwanted guests. Before we continue this heartbreaking yet powerful journey, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel Whispers of Kindness. Your support helps us share more stories that touch hearts and remind the world that love, no matter how silent, never fades. Abdul Rahman stared at the dim light seeping under the door. His heart pounded like a drum against his frail chest. "Farida," he whispered softly, "it's time we go. Before they wake up, before they do something we'll regret forever." Tears streamed down Farida's wrinkled cheeks. "But where will we go, Abdul? We have no one now, no money, no home." Abdul Rahman managed a sad smile. "We had nothing when we started our lives, remember? Just a few coins, a lot of love and dreams we built together. Maybe it's time to start over, just you and me again." Farida looked at him, her heart breaking all over again. 60 years of marriage had taught her one truth. Home wasn't four walls, it was the person beside her. She nodded. "Then we'll go. Together." They packed silently. A few clothes, a photo of Hamza as a child, and Abdul's old prayer mat. Every creak of the floorboard sounded like thunder. The fear of being caught made their hands tremble, but the pain of staying made their souls ache even more. The night air was cold when they stepped out. The moonlight fell on Farida's silver hair as Abdul helped her down the steps. Behind them, the house loomed large, like a ghost of all their memories. "Goodbye, my son," Abdul whispered into the wind. "May you never feel the loneliness you gave us tonight." They walked down the empty street, hand in hand, the same way they had walked together decades ago when they first left their village to give their child a better life. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in years, their hearts beat with freedom. By sunrise, they reached the small bus terminal at the edge of the city. Abdul had only a few hundred rupees in his pocket, enough for 2 tickets to nowhere specific. "Any bus that takes us far," he told the driver. The man nodded, eyes soft with pity. As the bus rumbled down the road, Farida leaned her head on Abdul's shoulder. "Do you think he'll notice we're gone?" Abdul looked out the window, watching the dawn break through the mist. "Maybe, maybe not. But one day he'll understand. Regret comes late, but it always comes." Hours turned into days. They wandered through small towns, sleeping in mosques, eating what little food kind strangers offered. Some people looked at them with pity, others with kindness. Yet through it all, they found peace in each other's company. For the first time in years, Farida laughed, softly, shyly, when Abdul tried to buy her a flower from a roadside vendor with the last of their change. But age was not kind. Farida's health began to fade. The long walks and sleepless nights took their toll. One evening, as they sat under a tree by a riverbank, Farida coughed weakly. "Maybe we should have stayed," she whispered. Abdul held her hand tighter. "Stayed where we were unwanted? No, my love. I'd rather have these moments, these few free breaths with you, than live under a roof where love has died." She smiled faintly. "Then promise me, if I go first you'll not cry alone." He kissed her forehead. "If you go first, I'll follow right after, just like I followed you out that night." Days later, in a small village miles away, Abdul and Farida found shelter with an old imam named Rehman Sahib. The imam, a kind man with a white beard and warm eyes, offered them food and a place to sleep in the mosque courtyard. "You both remind me of my parents," he said gently. "People today forget. Parents are not burdens, they are blessings. Let this be your home for as long as you need," and for a time, it was Farida helped the imam's wife in the kitchen, and Abdul spent his days teaching children how to read. The village came to love them, not as strangers but as elders, wise souls who gave without expecting anything in return. Then one afternoon, everything changed. A car pulled up near the mosque. Abdul froze when he saw the familiar face step out. Hamza, his once strong shoulders were slumped, his eyes swollen from sleepless nights. "Father, mother," his voice cracked. "I've been searching for you for weeks." Abdul stood still, his heart torn between anger and love. "Why now, Hamza? When we were under your roof, we were invisible." Hamza fell to his knees. "Nadia left me," he sobbed. "She said she never wanted a family that came with old people. When I woke up and saw you both gone, I realized what I had lost. Forgive me, please." Farida, frail but smiling through tears, stepped forward and cupped his face. "We never stopped loving you, my son. But sometimes love must walk away, so that others can learn to walk toward it." They embraced, and for the first time in years, all three cried together, not from pain, but from healing. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Every gesture of love helps us bring you more stories that remind the world of compassion, forgiveness, and second chances. Months passed. Hamza brought his parents back home, but this time things were different. He rebuilt not just their house, but their bond. Farida spent her mornings in the garden, planting roses again. Abdul often told the neighborhood children stories under the shade of the mango tree. And Hamza? He listened, really listened, to their laughter, their stories, and their silence. Because he now understood something that life had to teach him the hard way. Parents are not burdens, they are the roots of one's soul. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Abdul turned to Farida with a peaceful smile. "We escaped their house that night, but maybe we escaped something even greater." Farida looked at him curiously. "What do you mean?" He held her hand and whispered, "We escaped bitterness and found love again." The wind rustled through the garden, carrying their laughter through the house. A house no longer built on guilt, but on grace. And somewhere deep inside, the world seemed just a little kinder.